Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing quite well, man. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you very much. I was out of country last week.
You were very jealous of you.
So we missed our regular scheduled recording session. So we've chatted between, but it's been a while since we recorded. I'm kind of excited to be back at it today.
Yeah, we recorded a couple in a row before you left, and I'm happy to have you back, though.
Oh, shucks. I'm excited about today's episode, officially our third episode in the month of March, aka International Women's Month, aka Let's Hear It for the Ladies Month.
Whoop, whoop.
We have an iconic movie to chat about today. But before we do that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, it's been a while. Horror news has been piling up. Why don't you start with this one? What do you got?
This is probably the biggest thing that has come up that I've noticed. I'm sure you've got it written down. It's official. Neve Campbell has officially signed on for Scream 7. Yes, props to you, Neve. No idea what sort of salary she will be getting, but I'm sure it's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, we had kind of chatted about this when the franchise started dropping cast members like crazy. Yeah. We figured they were going to need to do something huge to save the franchise. And this was like the biggest thing they could have done. So well done to the people working on Scream.
And Neve.
Yeah. And honestly, well done, Neve Campbell, for holding out, because I'm guaranteeing you she is getting paid.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. Huge. I also liked how she announced it. It was just like a screenshot on Instagram of a picture of the title page for the script that just had her name on it, which was great.
I didn't even see that. That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Really, really cool.
What a cool way to do it.
Yeah. What else you got?
I've only got one other piece. It's more local. It's for the Calgary Horror Con.
Excellent.
Dana De Lorenzo, who stars alongside Bruce Campbell and Ray Santiago in Ash vs. the Evil Dead series, has officially been announced as a guest for this year's Calgary Horror Con, making her the third celebrity announcement so far who is part of the Evil Dead franchise. She will be joining already announced guests Cassie DePaiva from Evil Dead 2, and of course, Alyssa Sutherland from Evil Dead Rise. More announcements to come. There was a leaked poster online that shows all the guests.
Yeah.
I didn't see the poster.
Neither did I, but I saw the post from the con regarding that
poster.
Yeah.
So I will say, knowing at least one of the people that was on that poster that have not been announced yet, there is another cast member from the Evil Dead series.
Okay.
So they're kind of got a little bit of an Evil Dead theme going on this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that there's another con happening in Calgary. I don't know if it's at the same time. It's definitely during the summer months. Not only is there quite a few members from the Scream franchise, but also I believe Sam Raimi is supposed to be at that, which of course, I mean, is Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell at this con would be iconic. I think they've both been at the con before, so it wouldn't be like an unheard of thing. But I mean, if they're going with an Evil Dead kind of theme here, I'm not mad.
No, me neither. I mean, Bruce Campbell would be amazing. I don't know if he's a busy man. He's probably an expensive man, so I don't know if they can pull that off or not, but that would be amazing. But even like Jane Levy from the remake would be awesome.
Yeah. As somebody who doesn't splurge on photo ops, I find them to be not the photo ops themselves, but I find myself to be quite awkward. I would splurge if Bruce Campbell was going to be there. No brainer.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I never go for the photo ops either, really. I get the autographs, though. I like
Yeah.
having the autographs.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Only time will tell. Something, of course, to look forward to. One of our favorite times of the year is horror cons. So yeah, I'm looking forward to more announcements.
yeah, I am too, man. Excited
Yeah.
with the ones they already have, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a few here. It looks like the iconic Little Shop of Horrors is coming back to the big screen.
Joe Dante.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
1960 film that spawned a Broadway smash hit and the 1986 remake is coming back, and it's got a big name set to direct, according to Bloody Disgusting and Deadline and Blairski. Joe Dante, of course, of Gremlins and Gremlins 2 fame, is directing the human-eating, blood-drinking, plant-based horror film, and it will be called Little Shop of Halloween Horrors.
Okay, changing it a little bit.
Yeah, apparently they are hoping that it'll be the first film in a planned franchise, which is also very, very exciting.
Yeah, man.
No release date as of yet. Bliski, have you seen the original Little Shop of Horrors?
Absolutely love it. Rick Moranis, right?
Yeah. That was the 1986 remake. Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, and then the 1960 original film.
Haven't seen the original.
Like the epitome of kind of a black comedy.
Okay.
And then the stage musical is fantastic. I actually saw it maybe 5 months ago here in our city, and it was hilarious and over the top and camp, everything I love.
Yeah, 100%.
More exciting news. We officially have a release date for the new Maggie Gyllenhaal directed Bride of Frankenstein movie.
Okay.
The Bride, which is the title, will officially release in theaters October 3rd, 2025. So again, I'm chalking this all up for writer's strike, actor's strike, a little bit of a delay on this one. The film, of course, will star Christian Bale, Peter Sarsgaard, and Penelope Cruz in the title role. Yeah, this one's going to be huge. Very excited for it. And then finally, the much anticipated, long awaited Salem's Lot remake will not be released in theaters.
I saw that.
It was reported earlier this week that Salem's Lot will be released straight to the Max streaming service. I believe that's HBO Max. I could be wrong. No release date set as of yet, which is probably a smart idea because it's already been delayed twice, originally set for release in 2022 and again in 2023. No release date set, although Stephen King has seen it and has stated that it is quite good. Which
just drop it. Just drop it. Don't tell anybody. Just drop it.
If it's straight to streaming, and also like Stephen King is always somebody who supports obviously his own projects, but up and coming works from established creators or new creators. And I don't know. I was a bit underwhelmed by his quite good remark. Oh. It wasn't overwhelming enough for me, I guess. But I mean, if he's seen it and he said it was quite good, awesome. I'm excited to see it.
He also hated The Shining, and I absolutely love The Shining.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, agreed. Great. That is all I have for horror news. So what do you say we jump right into this week's episode? The third episode in Let's Hear It for the Ladies Month goes to 2014's The Babadook. Runtime on this one, 1 hour, 34 minutes. Blairski, initial thoughts on runtime?
Yes.
Yes, very
perfect,
good.
Man.
yeah. The runtime was perfect.
It was.
Absolutely. Fun facts. You have any fun facts for the Babadook?
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
I do. I've got quite a few, actually.
Oh, excellent.
This is Jennifer Kent's feature directorial debut, and it is based on her 2005 short film titled Monster, which I've heard in an interview, she called it like Little Babadook or Mini Babadook or something like
Baby
that.
Babadook, maybe?
Baby Babadook, yeah. This film was almost completely funded through the Australian government grants and crowdfunding, which is pretty awesome.
Very cool.
The monster and special effects in this movie were all created by either using stop motion animation, or practical effects. So there was
Yay.
hardly any CGI used in this movie, if any at all, which is what we here at Reviews That Scare love.
We'll talk about it later, I'm sure, but give us more, please. Give us
100%. Final fun fact I have is failing upon release in its native country of Australia, this movie didn't gain commercial success until going international, raking in $2.5 million internationally on a $2 million budget.
Yeah, I'm going to build off of that. And a big part of why it did so well internationally is because Netflix accidentally placed it under LGBT movies.
Oh, did they really?
And the film instantly gained a massive following within the LGBTQ plus community.
Okay.
I think I had seen memes where everyone was saying, wow, it has been confirmed the Babadook is gay, which is fantastic. Yeah, so it got a huge following, a lot of support from that community. Pretty excellent. Now you and we did a watch party for this movie last night, and you and I were chatting yesterday, and we both were wondering, wow, we've never even heard about a sequel being made for this movie.
No.
And I read today that director Jennifer Kent owns the rights to the film and has stated that she will never allow a sequel to be made. It doesn't matter how much she's offered, it'll never happen.
I mean, good on her.
Yeah, absolutely. This is obviously her baby. And she doesn't want to mess with it, where it's, sequels. It's a very fine line between coming up with something really cool or completely destroying an awesome movie, which this movie is. So
it's unfortunately, creation, man.
Yeah, and unfortunately or fortunately, we will never see a sequel to the Babadook. I read that in Hebrew, Babadook means he is coming for sure, which is pretty creepy.
Okay, very creepy.
I like this one. William Friedkin, who of course directed The Exorcist, had stated that he had never seen a more terrifying film than The Babadook. This is coming from the director of one of the most terrifying movies of all time. So I would say high praise for Jennifer Kent.
Yeah, no kidding.
What else do I have here? I think that might be it. Yep, that's all I have for fun facts. What do you say we move this one right along? Let's talk about the fine folks who worked on this fine film. Of course, directed by Jennifer Kent, also directed 2018's The Nightingale, and starred in 56 episodes of Murder Call as Constable D. Suzerain. So also an actor. Pretty cool. This one, of course, also written by Jennifer Kent, also wrote 2018's The Nightingale, and is writing the upcoming script for Alice plus Frida Forever. She also starred in 11 episodes of Blair's favorite racehorse-based television series, The New Adventures of Black Beauty.
You know what? I was thinking Black Beauty, but I thought it was just called Black Beauty.
No, well, there might just be the Black Beauty, but she's in, I guess, the new one, The New Adventures.
The New Adventures, of course.
Black Beauty. Yeah, of course. This one's starring magnificently, holy.
Yes.
Essie Davis as Amelia. Also starred in 34 episodes of Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries, 2008's Australia, 2006's Charlotte's Web, 2003's The Matrix Reloaded, and 2003's The Matrix Revolutions. She was great in this movie.
It's fantastic, man.
Yeah. Also starring Noah Wiseman as Samuel. Also starred in 2013's The Gift and 2015's Spaghetti. He was great in this film.
Yes, he was.
This leads us to synopsis, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. A single mother and her child fall into a deep well of paranoia when an eerie children's book titled Mr. Babadook manifests in their home. Great synopsis.
Yeah, I dig it, man. I dig
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Rare
So
we
far,
get them that good.
yes, so far. I mean, this one was not AI generated.
No.
Not bad. This leads us to one of our favorite segments of the show, Kill Count.
Kill Count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Lersky, do we have a kill count for the Babadook?
Kill count of 0 for this one, man. We do get a dog that gets killed. We also get a flashback of the father dying in a car crash. But other than that, there's no human deaths in this movie. So kill count of 0.
Yeah, might I add, pretty horrific dog death. And let's maybe start our next segment off, one of our favorite segments, likes and dislikes.
Likes, dislikes, likes, dislikes, and everything in between.
The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. I have few dislikes, so let's start with that. Blairski, the dog death.
That's definitely one of my dislikes. I mean, I hate any dog death in a movie. I'm a huge dog lover. I have 2 of them myself. They didn't hold back with this dog death. It was quite brutal.
Yeah, and you knew it was going to happen in other horror movies. I'm thinking of like Talk to Me. You see the dog and you think, nothing better happened to that dog.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie, you see the dog and you say, something's going to happen to this dog.
You know the way she's looking at him or talking to him at some points, you know something's going to happen to the dog.
It even pops up in the aforementioned book, Mr. Babadook, which I have to say is a fantastic looking book.
Scary looking book, man. It's creepy as all hell.
Yeah. Apparently they had released it as like a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And it had sold nearly 10,000 copies.
I'd want a copy of that for sure.
Yeah, it was a very limited release, but I honestly feel like a group like Trick or Treat Studios should get on this, because that is something that I would be very interested in purchasing.
I mean, they do that with the Necronomicon, which we were talking about last night while watching the movie, is another very scary book. So yeah, why not? Why not do it with the Babadook?
Absolutely. Yeah. What did you really like about this one?
The acting. Let's start with the acting. It was fantastic. I mean, the little boy, his acting was great. He did annoy the hell out of me the first half of the movie.
Okay.
Right? He grew on me. The character grew on me. But yeah, the character definitely annoyed me. But either way, they were amazing. Both of them were amazing in this movie.
I mean, it makes sense with that young Samuel character. I mean, he is a disturbed. He's just he doesn't have a whole lot of direction.
No,
I mean, his father had died tragically. His mother is just trying to figure out how to proceed with life without her partner. And the character of Samuel is just kind of a little bit running on a long leash. He maybe needs to be brought in a little bit. But I mean, seeing his transformation to the end of the movie, where he almost becomes the parental figure.
They swap spots.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just keep thinking back at the scene in the basement where Amelia is tied up and Samuel is basically telling her, I'm not leaving you. Remember, we had promised, like, I'm not leaving you, which is...
We have promised to protect each other, yeah.
Pretty heavy for a 6-year-old. You know, when the going gets tough, you'd imagine, well, a 6-year-old, like, get out of here, protect yourself. But he's not going nowhere.
Well, there's a point where it comes off as he's angry at his mom, and he says, do you want to die?
Yeah.
Right? But I'm thinking he's trying to warn her.
100%.
The whole time about the Babadook, right?
Yeah.
But it does come off, especially at the beginning of the movie, like he's just talking back. Like he's just being a shithead, really. He's
just acting out, even when he's not sleeping. I mean, they're just going through the routines. They're checking the closet. They're checking under the bed. He's terrified by these nightmares. There's nothing there. And Amelia is exhausted mentally, physically. she is exhausted, and she runs out of patience with Samuel on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
And I totally get that character. I mean, how frustrating this character. He won't just behave, you know?
Yeah.
And he's acting out, but he needs a little bit of guidance maybe. And
100% he does.
he steps up when Amelia needs Samuel to step up for sure. Yeah. What else did you like about this one?
The Babadook himself. I love the look of him.
Oh,
The book too, I wrote down, but we've already talked about that. But just the look of the Babadook. So when you get the close-ups of just the white face with that smile, the way he moves, a lot of that I think is the stop motion animation, where it's just like, you know, just gets closer and closer to you. I loved it. And the use of shadows with him.
Oh yeah. The use of shadows, even just like the costume itself, and the sound of it moving is so I don't even know. It's almost like the sound of, if you can imagine, like a millipede or like a centipede with all those legs kind of like moving in unison. It is so creepy.
Or like when your knuckles crack really fast.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is where you really see the stop motion and the practical effects really shine in this movie. It's anytime you see the Babadook, and you don't see the Babadook often, which I also like. I think they really utilize when they show him and when to just kind of imply that his presence is in the room. But I think they really thought it out when they wanted to actually show him. I think it was paced together perfectly.
They showed him a fair amount too. And you know, there's some movies where it's kind of scarier if you don't see him.
Yeah.
This wasn't the case, man. I was kind of terrified both when you could just hear him coming and when he'd appear. They made it scary both ways.
Yeah, I think where that was so successful is, I mean, the Babadook just in general is such a refreshing and unique character. Like, I can't remember seeing a character looking like that or sounding like that.
Based off the Boogeyman, or like the, you know, I think the Babadook, because she made that character up. She's made that name up.
Totally.
But I think it is based off just the traditional Boogeyman.
And that, I mean, that totally makes sense. It's obviously out of a children's book. But if that's the case, I mean, this is such a fresh take on the idea of a boogeyman. I thought it was great. No, and I also loved, I felt like almost the second half of this movie was like we were experiencing Amelia's like dream sequence almost. Like that's when she was at her most possessed. There's even a moment where she's downstairs and she's watching an old film from the 1920s, and the Babadook is in the movie. And I think that, to me, and I mentioned it last night, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
It's really good.
1920s, blink and you'll miss it, Babadook appearing in this old-timey movie. It was so cool.
They had some other movies or images that would flash up on the TV screen. It reminded me of The Ring, you know, the 7 Days Ring movie.
Yep.
Reminded me of that a lot. I got hardcore, especially near the end of the movie, hardcore The Shining vibes, like Jack Torrance vibes from Amelia and obviously her actions.
Totally. I feel like any time there is a door acting as a barrier between somebody who's possessed and somebody who's scared shitless, will immediately get the Shining vibes. And that's, right. I totally agree. That's exactly what we get in this movie as well.
100%, man, 100%.
Yeah.
What did you really like about this movie? Anything really in particular?
Yeah, I love the transformation of Amelia's character. I mean, I love Samuel's character in this, but the character of Amelia, just her physical appearance and her demeanor, her voice change, especially in the second half of the film. And then towards the end, again, when Samuel has her tied up in the basement, she is completely unrecognizable. There's
She
a lot of
looks like a demon, man.
yeah, and there's a lot of close-ups on her face, and she just does not look like the same person at all.
Mhm.
And just even the attitude she has towards Samuel. At the beginning, you can kind of tell that patience is waning with her. And then at the end, she's telling him to eat shit and things like that.
Well,
And
that's the thing. At the beginning, the
Yeah.
patience is wearing thin, but she still loves them. It's her
Yeah,
son.
absolutely. Absolutely. And they're
and
in it
as-
together.
Yeah, and they're in it together. And as the movie goes on, that goes away. And it's not anything to do with her. That's the Babadook possessing
Yeah.
her slowly.
Yeah,
and
that's
slowly,
not her.
More and
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
I also love, I mean, you had mentioned it. I loved the use of practical effects in this movie.
Very good.
Whenever practical effects or stop motion is used in a movie, no matter how much or how little, we're always going to bring it up because it just adds so much to the movie. So in this one, obviously we've seen beds shaking before, and we've seen bed shaking more severely than in this movie. But one scene in particular that I keep coming back to is the scene with Samuel getting dragged up the flight of stairs, and it is very cool.
That is right after he says one of my lines of the night.
Oh, excellent. It's such a cool film. And that's kind of where you see the Babadook at maybe its most violent, especially towards Samuel.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, up until that point, the Babadook is fucking around with their sanity more than anything else.
Yeah.
But physically, and it is towards the end, the Babadook puts hands on Samuel and it gets pretty intense.
Beats them around pretty good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way that they showed the progress of time in this movie. There's a lot of scenes where it's, Samuel can't sleep. He gets into bed with Amelia. He's asleep. His teeth are grinding. He's kind of all over her. She is wide awake, close up on her face, and it's just fast forward. And she does not blink, but we see the light of the sky turning from black to morning.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just love the passage of time in this one. You can see how quickly it's going for her, where it's just like, I thought I just went to bed and I didn't even shut my eyes.
What is the timeline of that movie? Is it just like a week? 2 weeks?
I don't know if it's ever brought up. The only time that it's kind of ever brought up is at one point we see Samuel is in school.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's various meetings with like child services. And they mention that, well, Samuel's been out of school for 2 weeks. So I just kind of chalk it up as timeline is probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, and she's been missing work too. Or there's a time where she's calling and they're giving away all her shifts now. And yeah, I think 2 weeks sounds good.
Yeah. All in all, I love how much time they spend on setting up the family's personal demons, as well as obviously the demons or the demon with the Babadook. But they spend just as much time with setting up this family that's in just complete chaos, just trying to hold it all together.
They're in dire need of just some help.
Yeah, these are just really well thought out characters.
Yeah.
So it makes you really want to root for them when they're, getting absolutely terrorized. It's pretty cool. And the ending is excellent. I love the little twist, and I don't want to mention it just in case there's some listeners who haven't seen it.
It's not like it wouldn't ruin the movie, but
I think if they were ever to do a sequel, the sequel would be rooted in that fact, where it's an older Samuel and he's about to get some answers kind of thing,
Open the door, if you will.
Open the door, walk down the stairs and see what he's facing. Yeah. I don't know. It could be cool.
I think so too, but that will never happen, apparently.
Never. Oh, wow. Anything you didn't like about this one?
I loved the ending. I felt the ending portion was a little dragged out though. There was just times where I was like, okay, like I was literally ready to get up off my couch because I thought the movie was over, but it kept going a little bit. But no, man, I have no dislikes other than obviously the dog death.
Yeah, the dog death, the cousin Ruby being an absolute bully. Yeah,
Didn't he like break her nose or something like that there?
Yeah, in two places.
Two
It's
places,
one
yeah.
of my line of the nights.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have many bad things to say about this one. It's one of my faves from recent years. I think we've talked about our likes and dislikes. What do you say to move along?
Sure, let's do it.
This leads us to one of our favorite segments, lessons we learned from watching 2014's The Babadook.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The portion of the show where we discuss valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski, did you learn a single thing from watching 2014's The Babadook?
Two things. I learned that the boogeyman not only feasts on the souls of children and the innocent, but also quite enjoys eating earthworms.
Just a good old earthworm.
Last thing I learned here is the importance of a break. Nothing in life is worth getting yourself to a point that your mental health completely collapses. Use your vacation days, people. It's important to step away from the stresses of life for a bit and just recoup. Jesse, you just did that, man.
I needed to. I needed to. Like, trust me, I needed to. And you know what? Take care of everyone. Take care of others. Take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make sure that you're well taken care of so that we can take care of others to the best of our abilities.
You ain't going to do much for anybody else when you can't be helped yourself.
That's right. That's right. I learned quite a few things in this one.
All right.
First off, if you're going to buy your kid fireworks or firecrackers, don't buy them online. Buy them like any regular human being, off a dusty old shelf at a small truck shop in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I also learned that a febrile convulsion is when the brain overheats. Wow, that's intense. I also learned it doesn't matter how tired or beat down you are. Don't ever tell your kid to eat shit. It's not very becoming.
No, it's not.
No.
These are funny.
I also learned if anyone offers you ice cream for breakfast, you take it.
Yeah, always take it.
I also learned sometimes you just have to sit in a warm bath fully clothed. I also learned if your deceased husband visits you in a dream and tells you to bring him your son, do not oblige. He means to do the boy harm. And then finally, do not perform your own tooth extraction. Leave that for the professionals.
Yeah,
I learned quite a few things this week.
You learned a lot, and a lot of them were very good.
Oh, goodness. This leads us to one of our favorite segments of the show, Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski. You got a couple lines from this one?
I got 3, but I'm going to start with one that you just mentioned in your lessons learned.
Excellent.
It's when Amelia asks, "Where did you get those firecrackers?" And Samuel says, "You got them for me on the internet." And Amelia replies, "Well, that's the end of the internet."
Yeah.
I thought that was just a great little conversation.
Absolutely.
This one I found pretty creepy, and it's right after the Babadook exits Amelia. She throws up all that black goo, and they think they're safe.
That's it. Yeah.
And Samuel goes, "You can't get rid of the Babadook." And immediately after that, starts getting beaten up by the Babadook. That is when he gets pulled up the stairs and all the craziness begins. I thought that was a great line.
Absolutely.
The last one of the night is ba, 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 do, do. do, do. So
Oh.
creepy.
Great line read, terrified. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
mentioned a couple
terrifying.
times in there, and it's so great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
good.
love it. I've got a couple, mostly from Samuel. He starts off the movie by saying, "See you later, alligator," which I believe more people need to use
Yeah.
as a goodbye. See you later, alligator. He follows this up by saying, "Mom, I'm going to smash its head in." Pretty violent, that
Very
Samuel,
violent,
especially
yeah.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
Amelia says, if while reading the book to Samuel, if it's in a word or in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So creepy, man.
Samuel, with one of the sweetest lines of the movie, says, "I just want you to be happy." Ugh,
Yeah, heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. And then finally, Samuel at the end, when he tells the social workers that it's his birthday, he's having a birthday party. His cousin Ruby is not coming. He says, "My cousin's not coming because I broke her nose in 2 places."
Yes, you did.
This movie's got some great lines. The script is
It
great
really
in this
does,
one,
yeah.
and it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
This leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might say it's our favorite.
Yeah, some might say, I'd say it probably.
I might say it. I don't like to pick favorites, but I might say
I might say, yeah.
celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
have any celebrities?
This is a tough one as there aren't that many characters in this movie. But the mom, Amelia, kind of reminded me of Naomi Watts in 2002's The Ring remake.
Okay.
Not only in looks, blonde hair, and just same demeanor, very similar in the face, both dealing with very similar situations. Single mom struggling with real world problems on top of dealing with a haunted and problematic child.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one.
Right?
I've got 2 here. The character Samuel reminded me of a child version of Malcolm McDowell, a Alex from A Clockwork Orange. And then the character Amelia
That's so
reminds
random.
me of Academy Award winner Mary Steenburgen. I think most people would know her from Back to the Future Part 3 or as Nancy, Will Ferrell's mom in Step Brothers.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I have for celebrity lookalike time. This leads us to our final rating for 2014's The Babadook Blairski. Out of 5 kindergartners armed to the teeth with a barrage of homemade killing utensils, what do you give The Babadook?
That shit reminded me of Home Alone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm giving the Babadook 4 kindergartners armed to the teeth with a barrage of homemade killing utensils out of 5.
Yeah, great rating. I'm going to go a little bit higher, believe it or not.
Right on, man.
4.5 kindergartners armed to the teeth with a barrage of homemade killing utensils out of 5. This movie was great. It was
It's a good
unique.
movie, man.
It was refreshing. It was one that I will recommend to everyone. Go and watch this movie.
Another new and refreshing movie, Talk to Me, took a lot of inspiration, apparently, from the Babadook.
I'm not surprised. I actually think they're both Australian.
Yeah, they're both Australian. Yeah.
So I can see it as, being a major influence. What a great month so far.
It's been good, man.
We only have one more movie to talk about, but we've been watching some great ones. The ladies have been killing it.
They sure have been.
The Babadook is no exception. What a great movie. I'm excited to talk about our last one. One that I've never seen. I don't think you've seen it either.
No.
I'm so excited to talk about that next week. But until then, this has been Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every A sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsthatscare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsthatscare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsthatscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich.
A proud member of Pod Nation TV.